In the world we live in, the idea of having superpowers isn't just something that people want in one form or another. It's a dream that many are trying to accomplish in their own way via technology and even gene editing.
For years, I've been treating the Hulk like he's some kind of disease, something to get rid of.
However, despite the fact that there are limitations to what we can do, there are people who have been given superpowers by complete accident or via random events in their life. So with that, allow us to show you This Girl Cries crystals. Unusual people with real superpowers. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. 6. Satenik Kazaryan. Let's start off with a superpower that likely none of you would want. Because for Satenik Kazaryan, she has the ability to cry crystals. No, really. She is a woman who hurts when she cries because her tears are truly shaped like jagged crystals. She said the painful tears started when she was at the dentist. It seemed dust got into her eyes. Kazaryan said in a video from news outlet Mirror24.tv, "It hurt me. I went to the ophthalmologist and a few crystals were taken out from my eyes." The first doctor Kazaryan saw for her strange condition gave her eye drops and they helped at first, but soon her condition got worse and her eyes were producing more jagged tears than before. "All the doctors are in shock," Kazaryan said. "They have not encountered such a disease and do not know how to treat it." What really makes this so tragic, though, is that doctors have never seen this before and thus don't know how to cure it. There are some who call this fake, but videos seem to indicate otherwise. Number 5. Franco Magnani. In the 1960s, Franco Magnani was an Italian immigrant, and he came to San Francisco in the United States in order to try and live a new life. Then he got very sick. He is documented with having a fever that was so bad it made him delirious and have seizures. Soon after he healed from this mysterious illness, he started having vivid dreams and vivid memories about something: his childhood home. It should be noted he hadn't been to his childhood home of Pontito, Italy in over 30 years, which means that the memories shouldn't have been fresh or vivid. Wanting to get the memories out of his mind, he started to paint them based on what he remembered. He should have been able to do something, but not to do vivid and detailed pieces, right? Except, after doing multiple pictures of incredible quality, someone went to Italy and took pictures of the places that were in the paintings. Aside from some perspective and zoom inconsistencies, they were perfect recreations. Magnani later became known as the memory artist and was known to sometimes drop everything mid-task because a new vivid memory had popped up in his mind that he knew he had to draw. His work is in art galleries where they are shown next to the real-life pictures so that people can see the startling accuracy of his work. Number 4. Jason Paget. Meet Jason Paget and listen to his very odd origin story. The year was 2002, and Jason Paget was having the time of his life. He had just come off a date and was leaving to go home, when all of a sudden, 2 men jumped him, beat him down, stole his money, and then ran off. The doctors that examined him stated that all he had was a concussion, but that he should go home and rest so that the effects won't hurt him too badly. He did so, but a little while after he did, he started to see things that he couldn't explain. When he would go outside, he would see light hitting things like cars and leaving objects like triangles floating in the air. This sense continued to grow and nearly drove Jason Paget insane. So much so that he had multiple medical tests done to him and even had metal plates put into his head. For 3 years, he did nothing, but eventually he gave up and decided to draw what he saw. And it was here that his superpower was discovered. Because he wasn't just drawing random shapes, he was drawing fractals. If you don't know, fractals are complex mathematical formulas that are said to make up the world in a math sense. To see them is enough of a superpower, but Jason Paget was able to draw them in perfect clarity and precision. which is something that even math experts can't do at times. Paget would go to study math, something he hadn't really done before, and excel at number theory. He even wrote a book called Struck by Genius about what happened to him. Number 3, Derek Amato. When it comes to origin stories of superpowers in real life, you could argue that Derek Amato has one of the dumbest, because back in 2006, he was at a friend's party in Denver, Colorado, and he decided to dive headfirst into their pool, which would have been fine if it was deep, yet it wasn't, and so he bashed his head on the bottom of said pool. This in turn knocked him out, and he woke up in the hospital with the diagnosis of a severe concussion, and was told by doctors that he would have severe headaches from now on. He would have memory loss, and 35% of his hearing was now gone. But to his amazement, after this incident, he started to see things when he closed his eyes. Mainly, he saw shapes in the dark, and they were moving in certain ways. At first, he thought it was just after images from lights, but then he realized they were musical notes and movements. As I shut my eyes, I found these black and white structures moving from left to right, which in fact would represent in my mind a fluid and continuous stream of musical notation. My fingers began to scale the piano keys as if I had played all my life. That's my notation. When those black and white squares are going, that's what my hands do. I'm convinced it's all for a reason, and it's my job to do it right. His musical prowess goes beyond the piano, though. His musical notes gift has allowed him to play several different instruments over the years, all without having to study them. He now spends most of his days making music across various styles and instruments. Number 2, Ken Walters. Ken Walters' journey to getting powers started out with some of the worst luck a person could ever have in their lives. Let's just say he got hurt a lot. All this stress led him to having 2 heart attacks, and then, in 2005, he had a major stroke. He survived, but something curious happened as a result. When he was in the hospital, he couldn't really talk, so he wrote a note to a nurse asking for some aid. But unbeknownst to him, after his hand got done writing the note, it then started to draw on the paper, all on its own. Walters had never been an artist and spent 20 years jobless. Yet, here he was drawing something subconsciously. The drawings were good too, and he would wake up at odd hours during the night because some new image had popped into his head and he felt the urge to draw it. According to his doctor, his stroke rewired his brain to help prevent damage, but usually it manifests in personality changes, whereas here, it gave him great artistic ability. Walters continued to draw and eventually went into graphic design, which is where he became famous because he would sell his art online and became a huge hit via the online game Second Life. This led to companies like IBM and more buying his abstract and detailed art pieces. Eventually, he would get another video game to buy his art. The company, Electronic Arts, saw his works and hired him to help make some of their creatures for their hit game Spore. And number 1, Tommy McHugh. Tommy McHugh was not a nice man. He had lived most of his life in a very violent way. Then, he went to the hospital one day to deal with severe headaches, and he found out that he had 2 aneurysms in his head, and both had ruptured. This led to having immediate surgery, with some odd side effects. At first, he could only speak in rhyme. This lasted for a few months. Then, he would have random images flash through his mind in a slideshow as he would describe it. He became so fed up with the images that he started to write them down. And, much to the surprise of his wife, they were actually quite artistic. But the problem was that the creativity was like an obsession of the worst kind. It became manic of sorts, forcing Tommy McHugh to write something, then draw something, then sculpt something, eventually covering his entire house in art because he needed to draw it. Eventually, he got doctors to take a look at him, and they confirmed that his previous condition caused damage to his frontal lobe, giving him what he had now. He is still doing his art pieces, and he's making quite a living off of them, including having them be displayed in galleries. So, what do you think? What do you think of this look at people in the world who honestly have superpowers in one form or another? Can you believe these events that led to their powers, or the powers themselves? Which of these do you think you'd want to have, minus the origin stories? Do you know of other people with superpowers? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.